Dave here. I'm gonna make a traditional meal, Newfoundland and Labrador. There are two ways to make it, two common ways to make it anyway. Fish and brews or fisherman's brews. I prefer the fisherman's brews where it's all combined. Anyway, it's purity hard bread. This is made right here in Newfoundland. Comes in cakes like that. It is hard. You got a job to chew on it. Anyway, they recommend for the traditional recipe, soaking in a large pot overnight in cold water. Put the lid on it, cover it. It's for I guess for general purposes, one cake per person. So if you got five people eating, 5 cakes. That's the general rule of thumb. Anyway, it's going to be 3 of us eating. I'm going to have probably leftovers. So I'm going to cover that. I'm going to leave that for the night. And I will be thawing out. I'm going to be using fresh cod instead of salted cod. I do have salted cod, but I've got some fresh cod in the freezer. So I'll have that thawed out as well for tomorrow's meal. And I've got pork scrunchions. Let's just see if I can get some stuff out briefly for you. Anyway, pork scrunchions. I don't know if I doubt I'm going to be using all this, so I'll probably use about half. You can see it's pork that's cubed up. That'll be fried with onions and until both are crispy and golden brown. And you use the fat that comes from the scrunchions and the onions and whatnot, and you use that as a gravy to pour over top. Now as well, I forgot to mention, when I make fisherman's brews, instead of just using the hard bread and the fish, I will actually throw in a few potatoes. I'll peel a few potatoes to mix in and cook with the brews, with the hard bread. So I'll keep this video as short as I can. Like I say, this is a traditional meal here. A lot of people cook it, to their own desired intentions and what they really like and that. But I'm just going to show you the way that I really enjoy it, and the way that my mom and her mom and the ways that it was served for many years growing up. So won't keep it any longer. We'll check back again tomorrow once we get all the ingredients going. Hey, so I'm back. It's next day. We're going to make our fisherman's brews, and we'll follow these simple guidelines. This is for fish and brews, but the only difference is that I'm going to be combining everything, and I'm also going to be cooking potatoes to go with it. So there you can see the hard bread, which is the brews, is now soft one. So what you do is you warm them up just before it hits a boil. You remove from the heat and drain the water immediately. Keep the hard bread warm, and then we prepare our fish. So I'm gonna get out another pot as well, and we'll get everything going. It's only going to be about 20 minutes. I'm going to boil the cod. It's fresh cod that I'm using. So I'll boil it until it starts falling apart, which is roughly about 20 minutes. And then I'm also going to use my cast iron skillet to fry out the pork scrunchions. You can use back bacon, side bacon, old-fashioned thick style bacon if you prefer not to use pork scrunchions. I'm going to be cutting the pork scrunchions up very small, tiny pieces, get it nice and crispy. Once they start getting nice and crispy, then I'll add the onion, and the onion is just going to be seared, just going to be browned, and that'll be your gravy that you pour over top of the fish, potatoes, and the hard bread or the brews. Like I say, some people don't use potatoes. I like to use potatoes in with it. It just adds extra flavor, but you can just use the hard bread alone with the fish and the scrunchions and onions. So won't keep this any longer. We'll get things going and we'll check back shortly. Hey guys, so here are the ingredients. I got about 2 pounds. This is 2 pounds here of cod, fresh cod. Any white fish will do. And all I'm gonna do is it is partly thawed, so I'm just gonna cut it up, smaller chunks, and I'm gonna boil it for about 20 minutes until it starts flaking apart. Traditionally, this was used with salted cod fillets, which back in the day there was no freezers, no way of preserving other than to salt it. So I'm gonna be making enough here. This would be enough to feed about 8 people. Excuse me. Gonna add some leftovers, obviously. But so you got about 2 pounds of fish, white meat fish. Gonna use medium-sized onion. Some people don't use potato. I'm gonna be using potato with the Fisherman's Brewis today. So I got 5 potatoes to 5 pieces of hard bread. They're now already on the stove top warming up. I'll just get the water hot just before it gets to a boil. I'm gonna drain that. Then I'm gonna fill back up the water and I'm gonna add my fish. I'm gonna boil that till that falls apart. I'll have my potatoes cooking the same time on the side burner. Same time I'm gonna be pouring out with the, I forgot to mention earlier, pork scrunchions, or you can use bacon or whatever. So I'm gonna cut that up, finally cut that up. All the ingredients, the onion and the scrunchions, are gonna be frying up in the cast iron skillet. And you combine all the ingredients. That'll be a Fisherman's Brewis. Some more people will have it separate. They'll have their hard bread separate from their fish. And the onions and scrunchions will pour over almost everything. So I'm going to combine it all. Anyway, as they keep going here, I'll keep showing you guys. Stay tuned. Alright guys, that's the pork scrunchions in the skillet right now. They're going to shrink significantly because, like I say, it's basically just pork fat. That's that, and potatoes, 5 potatoes, the hard bread, the Brewis, that's already done. You gotta keep that warm. And we're just about near a boil here to put our cod in. Onions go in last once the scrunchions are pretty close to done. So like I say, when I get everything all cooked up, I'll show you what it looks like, and then I'll show you when it's all combined. Like I say, the pork scrunchions and the onion, use that to pour over top last. The reason why I got the big pot is the potatoes and the hard bread are all going to be combined once the fish is cooked and drained. And you mash it up. Get a potato masher, you mash everything together. And last but not least, then once you got your plate served up, you can scoop up whatever is desired for your scrunchions and your onions. So leave it at that for now. We'll check back shortly. Hey guys, so these are the pork scrunchions. They're nice and golden brown now. Cooking them on medium heat. With a cast iron skillet, you want to use a little less heat. But so it's now ready for the onions to go in. Like I say, 1 medium-sized finely chopped onion. That'll go in mixed in with pork scrunchions. Potatoes been cooking for about 15-20 minutes. They were cut in half to cook quicker time. Same amount of time as the codfish. As you can see, we only got about another 35 seconds. So I'll go ahead and add the onion, get that seared up, and then I'll check back with you once I get everything combined. Like I say, the fish, that'll all be mashed up. The liquid is drained out of it. I'll add the hard bread, which is still warm, and I'll add the potatoes once they're drained into the water as well. Throw it all into this pot, mash it up. This is your topping with the onion. Anyway, check back shortly. Okay guys, so water's drained from the 2 pounds of white fish. It's not white fish, it's cod, like I say, but for anybody that doesn't have access to saltwater cod, any white meat fish will do. There's the hard bread. That's five bricks. And I got 5 potatoes. And here are the pork scrunchions and onions, nice and golden brown. That will be the topping. Yep, clog the arteries, right? Anyway, if you want to be a little more healthier, you don't have to use pork scrunchions. You can use a much healthier choice of, like I say, you can use side bacon, which is a lot less fat in it. So, what we're going to do now, I'm going to mix in the hard bread in here with the fish, along with the potato. Going to use the masher, mix it all up. We'll check back shortly. So here it is, folks. Fisherman's Brews. Difference being it's all mixed together. As you can see, pork scrunchions and onions poured over the top. There's a gravy, I guess you call it. Salt and pepper to taste. If you're using pork scrunchions, you don't need salt. But if you want to add pepper, you can go ahead and do so. Like I say, this is a very common meal here in Newfoundland and Labrador. So, as you can see, a lot's left over. So, anybody who wants to stop by here at Red Indian Lake and try some Fisherman's Brews, spots here for you guys. Anyways, that's it for now, guys. As always, take care and thanks for watching. And as well, feel free to subscribe to my channel for anything you like enjoying the great outdoors. From hunting, fishing, trapping, and from time to time I will share with you some traditional meals. Anyway, thanks again.